I'm back. It's not been that long, other than an hour. Damn. But anyway, last one I left off, Izuku Midoriya was crying. Oh my god. Hold on. If you're in the background noise, which you most likely will, I'm sorry. I am back. It may seem like I was away for a short minute, but no, I was not. Anyway, Izuku Midoriya sighs as he wipes away his tears. He says, disappear. He quickly reappears in his room. He walks up to his bed and just falls asleep. He tries to sleep it all away. All the pain that he endured and all the feelings he has. But time skip tomorrow. To tomorrow. Izuku Midoriya wakes up to another Monday. He sighs as he hates Mondays. I mean, who likes Mondays? But anyway, Izuku Midoriya gets up and he prepares for school. He walks up to the 1B door. He enters. He walks, and people start questioning him on his powers. Izuku would either just tune them out or just entirely ignore them all. Izuku sighs as he sits down in his desk. He puts his head down, and he, like I said again, sleeps away. Time skip to the end of the week. During this whole week of time skip, Midoriya, well, the team's been drifting away from him. Kai is level 80. Emily is level 82. And basically, wait, what's the last guy's name? I just totally forgot about his name. Alex, there we go. Alex is level 82. The team's been drifting away from Izuku lately. And Izuku, well, he's a level 1. Well, he's level 120. But he tells him that at level 50, Izuku sighs. He sees it. The team's at this point just only using him. Midoriya Izuku, well, he's just been in the background while they attack. Sometimes Izuku will try and help, but they would just tune him out and just continue fighting alone. It was a dysfunctional team, and Izuku knew that they wouldn't make it far as a team. Not like this, at least. He tried telling them, but they would just ignore him and walk away. Even his original teammate. It was surprising. Izuku hated this feeling. The feeling in his gut telling him that he was alone once again. And that everyone else would abandon him like they do. Izuku suddenly jolts awake in his bed. He has cold sweats. He wakes up in a cold sweat, dripping down his forehead. He touches his hair and sees that it's soaked. Izuku looks at the timer and sees that it's 6 a.m. Izuku stands up. Another Sunday afternoon. What? Another Sunday morning alone. Izuku Midoriya decides just to stay in bed. A time skip, a few hours. Izuku once again sits up in his bed and decides to vent his pent up frustration. Izuku quickly says, I decreate. He appears in a cavern. Well, in a cave. He was dripping All his senses have been enhanced to the max. Izuku Midoriya. He's walking, hearing his own footsteps, hearing breathing sometimes, hearing his own heartbeat in his chest, hearing all the sounds in the cave and his body made. Izuku Midoriya. He heard Izuku quickly. He looked around but saw nothing. Izuku would keep walking until he heard his name once again. Izuku immediately knew where it was. He quickly said ID escape and appeared in his room once again. He suddenly appeared in his mindscape. He looks around and asks them what they want. This time, it was Ragni. Well, he couldn't unlock all the other dragons. Ragni's been shooting him. Wow, Ragni's been training him to control plasma. He asks Ragni what he needs. Ragni just looks at him and Dragon Albion. Sasuke and Naruto too. They look at him and ask if he's okay. Izuku asked him what they mean. They tell him they know that he's emotionally traumatized. Well, emotionally scared, to be precise. Scared of what could happen. Scared of being left again in the darkness, all alone, and no one to help him. They told him that I'm there for you. But Izuku just turns around and says, and exits his mindscape. Izuku Midoriya says, I decreed again, and he appears in his same cave that he was walking in previously. Izuku continues journeying down, deeper and deeper, killing hordes of monsters one after the other. They never seem to learn. This time, the fifth horde couldn't even lay a scratch on him, let alone touch him. He was just too fast for them. Izuku Midoriya. He heard his name being called, but he just put it in the back of his head, not caring. Izuku. He heard someone call his name. Izuku. He heard again. Izuku. He heard it. He heard his name being called so many times. Izuku, 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 Izuku. But one name stuck out to him the most. Deku. He heard his heartbeat quicken. He knew that name and he never wanted to hear it alone. Hear it again. Useless, useless. The voices suddenly changed from his name to screaming out Deku, 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 Deku. And after saying Deku, they started yelling useless, 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 useless. Izuku Midoriya had enough. He snapped. His eyes, instead of the bright green they were, turned to crimson red. His hair turned from green to darkness, to black, well, to be precise, void black. It represented how he felt, alone, in the darkness, sad, angry. He went on a killing spree with whatever stood in his way would get cut down in seconds. Izuku Midoriya, he heard his name being called once again. He snapped back, in control. He quickly fell to his knees and started panting heavily. Izuku at this time, he was lost. And he couldn't control his emotions anymore. He started bawling his eyes out, not caring about the notifications he got, not looking up once. Izuku felt he was crying for hours and hours and hours and hours on end until he couldn't cry anymore. His eyes were bloodshot red. He stood up, said ID escape, exited his ID. He started crying on his bed. That's when he heard knocking on his door. The quickly wiped away his tears and stopped sniffling. He said, "Enter." Itsuka Kendo came in. He saw his his bloodshot eyes, the bags under his eyes, the tears. His suit looked soaked in tears. She quickly ran up to him and hugged him with all her might. Izuku felt like he was being crushed again. Felt like a piece of his mom was in her. See, he felt at home when he was around her. He always got butterflies in his stomach. Izuku Midori didn't get these feelings. Well, not anymore. He patted her on the back and she let go. Izuku quickly looked at her and asked her what she was doing. She said she came and checked to come and check on him. She heard strange noises from his room. Izuku quickly told her that is fine, and she yelled out, "No, he isn't." Izuku looked at her once again. This time, his eyes welling up in sadness. Finally, someone could see that he wasn't fine, that he wasn't happy, that his smile was all fake. He finally broke down, fell on his bed, just felt a hand. He felt himself being adjusted until he felt warm again. Izuku Midori opened his eyes to reveal that he was laying in Kendo's lap, his head on the thighs to be precise. Izuku's body was too tired to move, so he kept laying in that position, not daring to move, otherwise his body would be screaming at him to stop moving. Izuku Midori that night fell asleep again. Finally, a peaceful night. But anyway, time skip to the next day. Gotta make this a bit happy. But anyway, Izuku Midoriya suddenly shot open to see Tsushika Kendo fell asleep on his bed. Izuku quickly blushed and looked away. He quickly got up and woke her up. Izuku told her to get ready for school. She quickly did as she was told and quickly ran to go get dressed. Izuku Midoriya smiled as she ran out of his room. Midoriya finally got dressed, walked out of his room to be met with another hug. Midoriya looked down and saw it was Kendo. He smiled and patted her head. She quickly stopped and blustered what his actions was. Midoriya knows what he was doing and quickly turned away and said they should get going. They walked to school in an awkward silence. Well, anyway, they finally reached their class. Midoriya Izuku came in. He sat down in his desk and just like he always does, puts his head down. This time, the teacher was tired of it. He quickly called upon Izuku. Izuku didn't hear. That's when he called again and again and again, until Izuku finally snapped out of his dream world. Izuku looked up and the teacher asked him, well, a specific question that he knew all too well. He answered all the teacher's questions correctly, even though falling asleep during class. The teacher, well, obviously chose to ignore this and kept asking Midoriya questions and questions and questions until it was the end of the day. Midoriya finally got out of his seat, walked away, and Kendo quickly followed behind him. Followed by... no. He was walking back to his dorm room. Izuku fell onto his bed and looked at the time. It was 5 p.m. The time him and his original teammate would meet. Izuku sighed and said, vanish. Izuku quickly appeared in SAR, this time looking fine, like nothing ever happened. Well, he was fine on the outside, but on the inside, he felt like dying again. But he couldn't, he knew it. Otherwise, the system would save him. Izuku sighed. He turned around to see his party members. They quickly came up to him and asked him, and before they could say anything, Izuku quickly turned around and turned his back towards them. Midoriya, one of them asked. Izuku just looked at him. Out of the corner of his eye, he could see all of them looking at him like he was a freak. Midoriya had enough. He quickly turned around and said he wants out. The teammates didn't get it until it finally hit them like a truck hitting you. That sounded dumb, but anyway. Like a truck hitting you at 100 miles an hour. They finally understood that Midoriya Izuku was done with them and wanted nothing to do with them. They started laughing and saying they don't need him, except for Alex. He knew Midoriya was the strongest of them all. He just knew it. Midoriya turned around and started walking away. Before he could even get far, he felt something hit his back. He quickly turned around and noticed blood was dripping. He quickly looked at his HP to see it drop by 1 and quickly fill up again. He looked at his teammates to see them smiling. Midoriya just turned around again and walked away. Midoriya didn't want to kill his party. He didn't want this. They started calling him names and throwing the weapons at him and shooting arrows. Izuku would just keep walking and keep walking and keep walking. That is until one name hit him in the back of the head. One of them screamed out, "Useless." Izuku quickly came to a stop. He turned around and looked the one dead in the eye and activated a small amount of his presence. They all fell to their knees, scared. All the bloodlust that was coming out of Izuku was straightly directed at them. It felt like 1,000 needles hitting them at light speed over and over and over and over again. Until it finally stopped, Midoriya turned around and it looked like he logged up. In reality, he just appeared in his old world. Midoriya sighed, turned around, and walked up to his bed. Dark Shadow quickly came out to him and asked, "What's wrong, buddy? What's wrong, buddy?" Izuku looked at Dark Shadow. Dark Shadow immediately get what was happening, and he quickly told his friend to lie down. Izuku quickly did as he was told and was lying in his bed. That's when Izuku came in and saw Dark Shadow basically coming out of Izuku. Don't interpret that wrong, but anyway. She walks up to him and asks how he's here. He just tells her how he's here and says that he's a part of Izuku. My fucking voice seems weird. But anyway. Izuku. Dark Shadow told her to tell his teacher that he wouldn't be coming to school for a couple of weeks. She asked why, and Dark Shadow pointed out Izuku. Izuku was mentally and physically tired. He couldn't do anything. Midoriya Izuku felt broken, like he used a toy and thrown away. He felt like trash. Izuku didn't want to feel that again, but he couldn't get it out of his head. It kept screaming at him, told him that he was useless, worthless, a piece of trash. He couldn't shake the feeling. But that is until he felt a sudden kiss on his forehead. Midoriya quickly opened his eyes to see Izuku looming over him with a smile on her face. Izuku quickly looked away and blushed. That is until I felt another one. He quickly looked up and saw a dark shadow now looming over him. He quickly looked and asked him if that was him. Dark Shadow quickly entered Izuku's body again before Izuku got an answer, and Izuku started screaming for him to come out. Dark Shadow never did. But anyway, Izuku later leaves, and Izuku was just laying there, finally recovering after what felt like eternity of pain. He finally felt at ease again, like he could finally be him, and not fake, not pretend, nothing like that. Izuku Midoriya finally felt at home. How long have I been even recording? Oh, 25 minutes. It felt like a fucking hour. But anyway, Izuku, he quickly gets up and basically, well, time skip 2 weeks later. Izuku, hold up. I am back. We time skip 2 weeks later, like I said. Izuku finally felt fully recovered again. Other than the skill he got, boost, which basically boosts everything. Izuku slowly but fastly got better. He felt like he was a person again. He felt like he was okay. He felt like he was finally himself, the original Midoriya, the happy, he goes to smile, cinnamon roll. Izuku quickly stands up and walks out of his dorm room. He basically keeps walking until he suddenly dodges an attack. He quickly turns to see who it is, and it is the Oak. Midoriya sighs and tells him that he has no time for this. They look Midoriya in the eyes and tell him to join them as devils. Midoriya declined and said he'll never become a demon and quickly turned around and walked away. Until he was surrounded by the York members. Izuku sighed and said he doesn't want to do this. Until they said he has no choice. Izuku once again sighed and just hit the ground, and explosions ignited everywhere, knocking the York out. Izuku quickly turned around and walked away. The students were looking at him. Midoriya was no longer the weak, powerless kid they thought he was. He could beat them easily with just a flick of his finger. But anyway, Izuku Midoriya is just walking along. That's when he feels a hug from behind. He quickly turns around to see it as Itsuka. Izuku sighs and asks her what she's doing. She says nothing and just hugs tighter. Izuku sighs and basically keeps walking. Izuku basically walking or more like waddling because she's so close to him. Every day, Izuku has been coming and hanging out with Izuku while he was recovering. Izuku, he grew very, very close to the gun to do anything for her. Izuku sighed again. Hold on. Anyway, I think I'm gonna make this a 15-minute special. Yeah, 50 minutes. But anyway, if I can even get there, I don't know, I might make it 30 since I'm currently exhausted. Sorry about that, but anyway, back to the what if. Midoriya had slowly but surely gained feelings for this girl, and you could sense she did too. But he would not falter and admit defeat first. No, Midoriya Izuku, he was not going to falter. He would not admit feelings first. His pride didn't allow it. Well, his pride wasn't like Bakugo's. He would admit love, but if pushed to it. Though Midoriya, his walls of pride has been slowly but surely falling apart. Midoriya just couldn't take anymore. His wall of pride, but the only one standing, suddenly shattered apart, and he started blushing like crazy. He quickly grabbed Itsuka battle style and ran back to his dorm room. Well, more like vanish. He quickly appeared in his dorm room, sat her down, and began blushing even more. Itsuka was redder than a tomato, which was honestly impressive. But Izuku Midoriya, he suddenly said something that caught the girl by surprise. He murmured under his breath, "Would you like to go on a date with me?" She asked what he said, but she just wanted to tease the boy. She obviously heard what he said. He said again, "Would you like to go on a date with me?" She said yes, and Midori was the happiest man alive. Izuku quickly, well, Izuku started jumping around the room happily. Izuka was surprised by the boy's mannerism. She never saw him like this. It's honestly nice seeing him this way. Not that gloomy stuff. Izuku suddenly stopped when he realized what he was doing and started blushing like a madman. Izuku quickly told her to get out. She did as she was told, since Midoriya, how can I say this? You know what? Nah, never mind. I can't say it. I can't say it. But anyway, Midoriya Izuku. Midoriya, well, we time skip a few days later and the two started dating, believe it or not. A few hugs and kisses here and there. And yeah, and I honestly think that this story might be coming to an end. My first ever story might be coming to an end. Well, the first chapter of it. Foreshadow. But anyway, Izuku once again had to go back to school. He walked up to the 1B door, opened it, walked in, and sat at his desk. Izuku sat there, and since the teacher already knows Izuku's the smartest of the whole class, he just would begin teaching while Izuku would just sleep through his lessons. Izuku quickly got up when school was over and started walking away. He quickly made it to his dorm room and started to get ready for his day. This is what Izuku looks like. This is what Izuku Midoriya wore. But suddenly, Albion and Drag appeared while Dark Shadow came out. All three of them asked why is just so good, he tells him, and they started whistling. She gets embarrassed by this and tells them to shut up. They stop, and basically, Dark Shadow tells him good luck with Dragon Albion. Izuku basically same with Dragon Albion. They quickly all summon while Tokyo, Dark Shadow goes back inside the deku. Izuku quickly, he starts leaving for his day. Basically, 1B were confused as they were all sitting in the common room. They were looking at why Izuku was dressed so fancy and why he was leaving. A couple of minutes later, Itsuka also came out, wearing a fancy dress. They were about to ask her where she was going, but she just ran past them, too embarrassed to say. They made it to a fancy restaurant, and yeah, time skips at the end of the night. They had a great time. They end off the night with a gentle kiss under the moonlight. And time skips to the next day. Izuku Midoriya sits up in his bed. He quickly gets out of it and basically walks away. he basically starts getting ready for school. Time skip to the end of the day. Deku is sitting in his room with Izuka on his bed on the phone. Izuku was just playing whatever. Well, yeah, while Izuku's playing Dying Light, a zombie game. While Izuku's playing Dying Light, yeah, but anyway, Izuku he quickly Izuku he is just basically being chased by a zombie. Izuku quickly turns around and pulls out a gun and shoots it in the head. Izuka turns around and keeps on running while climbing a building. Izuka sees this and asks him what he's doing. He says playing Dying Might. She says, she wants to join in, and Izuka just, well, let's say Izuka got a skill box that allows him to make anything he wants. He makes a second console with a TV and basically all the games that he already has. I guess this was a gift for Izuka. He quickly, he quickly started putting it in, and they start playing together. Basically, Izuka basically dying all the time. And with Izuku having to come rescue her when she's down. But anyway, she quickly starts getting a hang of it. And yeah, a few hours later, they're still playing, and they look at the time, and they see that it is basically 4 a.m. Izuka basically gets scared by this and starts getting ready. Izuku quickly grabs her, he turns off both the consoles, walks out to her and grabs her and runs towards his bed. He quickly jumps in with her and starts cuddling up next to her. He puts his arm around her stomach and they'll just say that they're sick. And we skip to the end of the week. Yeah. Izuku was basically teaching her everything he knew. And she's almost on the same smart, almost as smart as Izuku. But anyway, Izuku, he heard his name being called. He quickly turned around and saw Atsuka there. And she's holding Call of Duty. Izuku looks at her, and suddenly one theme he knows all too well starts playing. It's basically this. As this noise suddenly starts playing, but anyway, that's not important. But anyway, that's not important. Izuku looks at her closely and asks, as he asks her this,
Are you challenging me?
she says, maybe. Wow, that's a dead meme. Well, I mean, some people think it's still alive and flourishing, but hey, to me. But hey, I will not judge your meme status. You do you, man. I honestly think it's a great meme, but anyway. But anyway, she says maybe, and Izuku, yeah, to put it simply, he clapped the cheeks. Not in that way. No, not in that way. But I swear to gosh, bro, some of y'all got dirty ass minds. But if you didn't think about it, good to you. Good, good for you. Good for you. I give you a head pat. You did a good job. But anyway, she is basically knocked out on the floor. I swear to sleeping. No, yes, sleeping. Yeesh, I swear to God. Most y'all just out of that. Oh, God. She's sleeping on the floor. Izuku quickly picks her up by the style, puts her in his bed while he basically sleeps on the floor. He basically pull out a mattress and basically pull out some covers, some sheets, and quickly blankets. What the? He pulled out some blankets and quickly went to sleep. Hello, everybody. No, nah. Izuku. Oh, wow. Izuku quickly got out of bed to see Izuka playing games. This being Dying Might. Izuku quickly gets out of bed and basically calls over. She quickly gets up and pauses the game. She walks over to Izuku and asks him what he needs. He tells her about the ability to transfer to different worlds. And she gets excited by this. Izuku also told her about his yo. She quickly asks her to see. She quickly asks him to teleport there. He does so and teleports there. Izuku still being in the same armor with Izuku wearing nothing. Well, just her basic clothing. Izuku he basically he quickly gives her a weapon, this being a normal steel sword. And them saying that basically him saying basically I'll go buy you some gear. They start basically moving along and come to the starting area. He buys her this set of armor. He basically buys her this set of armor and this dagger. But young listeners, do not be fooled by this dagger's appearance. This dagger can basically, like, it complements Itsuka's quirk. When Itsuka uses quirk, this dagger basically, it puffs up, well, suddenly expands to be the size of a great sword. And Izuku decides to buy himself this set of armor with the scythe. This thing mainly focuses on agility. Yeah, agility and dexterity. But yeah, I basically boost them by 500. But anyway, Izuku, he, this class basically focuses on creating weapons. But anyway, not important. Izuku, he gives her the arm set. She quickly equips it, and she feels drastically stronger. Bro, she felt like a weak, but now she feels like a little god. But anyway, hold on. But anyway, Izuka starts thinking that she's invincible. Izuku tells her, just because you have godly armor doesn't mean you can't be killed. She looks him dead in the eyes and says, "Do I die and be life?" He says no. She sighs relief. And Izuku tells her, what the fuck? But that doesn't mean you can slack off on training. Izuku said that they'd start training right now. So, for the past 7 in-game days, they've just been grinding. Itsuka is level 72, while Izuku is 150. She asks Izuku what his level is. Izuku looks at her and says, "You are not ready to know." She asks again, and Izuku tells her 150. Her jaw immediately hits the floor. Well, she says she's level 72. Izuku just laughs and turns around and starts walking away. She asks where he's going, but Izuku says nothing, keeps on walking. She finally catches up again and they start walking together. They sigh a happy relief. They, keep just walking. It just came back. It just came back. Oh, wow. But anyway, Izuku, well, how can I say this? Izuku's just basically training Itsuka in hand-to-hand combat skill and the way of the mage. Anyway, that's not important. But Izuku runs into the one group that he didn't want to see ever again. He sees Group Reaper. Izuku sighed at the name. Well, the original name was Team Green, since basically they all had green hair. It was a big coincidence, but screw it. Izuku sighed and he sees that their player name, the player name tag is bright red, indicating that they've been killing players. Izuku immediately knows this as raiders. But that's not important. Izuku, he starts basically walking towards the group and asks them why the name tag is red. They look at Izuku and they try to attack him. They look at Izuku and say that it's none of his business and start walking away. At the time, Izuku came walking up behind Izuku and asked what's wrong. Alex turns around to see that Izuku and he instantly fell in love. He tries to flatter Izuku, but it doesn't work, and he just ends up pissing Izuku off. But he keeps it under control. Izuku once again, he basically walks up to Alex and pushes him away. Hold up. I'm back. But anyway, Alex falling onto his butt and looking at Izuku. Him not liking what Izuku did, he gets up and tries to attack Izuku. Izuku comes in the way and gets sliced across her chest. Izuku, he sees this and he goes, one of his eyes turn a crimson red. He basically just charges towards Alex and punches him in the face until his XP lies at 1. Alex's HP is 10,000, and he got punched once and it's already at 1. Alex gets staggered back by this and looks at his HP and sees this. Izuku, not taking any chances, takes out his scythe and brings it down onto Alex's head, while killing him in game. He throws Alex's corpse and it shatters and it disappears in blue particles, and him respawning. Izuku's name tag turns yellow, but he does not care in the slightest. Izuku just kills basically the rest. His name tag at the end of it being crimson red like his eye. He luckily, Itsuka calmed him down. His crimson eye disappeared and he had his his normal emerald green ones. Izuku sighed and turned around and walked away. Izuka following closely. Izuku pulled out Mage Light and started healing her wound. She stopped healing it, pulled out a healing spell, and used it on Izuka. He stood up and walked and asked her if she was okay. She said yes, and Izuku just turned around and said good, and kept on walking. Izuka closely following behind. Wow, uploading 1 hour, 1 hour specials back to back is exhausting, and it's not even 1 hour. I got 10 more minutes to go. This is gonna be interesting, isn't it? Oh wow, but anyway. Izuku finally, he just sighs, turns around, and just uses disappear and appears back in his room with Itsuka. He quickly picks up battle style, walks to his bed, and falls asleep, cuddling up next to her. So, time skip to the next day. They've either just been playing Dying Might in the room. Since the only reason Izuku still went to that school, even though it was he's the smartest person in the universe, was because he had nothing better to do other than just waste away his life playing video games. But now, he has someone. So later, they go back into SAO, and they basically grind a bit more until they meet a relatively big group. This being Kyoto's group. Keep in mind, Kyoto was 100, level 100. Asuna is level 99. Kyoto sees Izuku's crimson red name tag and gets into basically attacking stance. Kyoto's group looks and sees Izuku's basically name tag and thinks he is associated with the Laughing Jesters. I think that's the name. Basically, the group that kills players. He thinks Izuku is basically associated with that group. And recently, they've been trying to kill off the entire group. Keep in mind, Izuku is walking around with a scythe on his back in this set of armor. They attack Izuku, but Izuku just ends up dodging, dodge, until he dodges an attack and it almost hits Itsuka. Luckily, Izuku used shield barrier, a spell that basically casts a giant shield in front of where the user casted it. He quickly turned around and faced the group, his eye going basically almost a real type of crimson red. He quickly, oh my god, Izuku's eye going a weird crimson red mixed color. Him quickly launching himself at the group, causing a massive crater behind him, and basically slicing at the air. And it basically cutting down their health to 50. Their health is 100,000, while Izuku's is 1 million. Well, 5 million, yeah. They're all surprised, and Kyoto starts taking this a lot more serious. Also, not everyone basically started attacking at the same time. Izuku basically blocking their attacks, pushing off, and trying to cut their heads off with the scythe. But if he tries that, someone comes in from the back and slices him. Him quickly turning around, and this basically repeating his health getting chopped away at. Izuku was getting irritated because his health is only at 4 million, which means they dealt a million in an hour. Izuku, he basically brings up the hilt of his scythe and brings it down, creating basically a field of ice in a 200 radius, catching basically all of Kyoto's party in it. Izuku was about to finish them all with one single swipe attack, but was stopped when Izuka persuaded him not to. Izuku basically sighed and released them. He turned around and started walking away. They asked him why he didn't kill them. Izuku turned around and said he's not a killer. And basically turned around and started walking away again. They basically say disappear and act like they logged out. But anyway, Izuku quickly passed back into his room with Itsuka. He looks at her and asks what she wants to do. She says, play dying. Play dying might. Izuku asks her if she's getting addicted to the game. She says no. Just looks away nervously. Izuku sighs as a smile creeps up on his face. He sits down, pops in the two discs, and they start playing away. And basically, a couple of minutes into the game, oh god. They hear knocking on Izuku's door. Izuku quickly gets up, walks to the door and opens it, and he has to dodge an attack sent at his face. This being basically Class 1A, and Class 1A and all the teams in Naruto, they were teens at this time, which means Sasuke has a Rene Sharingan. Naruto, hold up. We are coming to the final minutes. So after the basically, Izuku starts getting bored of dying might, so she's asked to go back to Sword Art Online. Izuku says okay and says vanish. They appear, and when they appear, Izuku just gets a bunch of notifications on his menu screen. Him just basically getting skills along with Izuka. But a couple of minutes later, he'll stop, but Izuku's kept going. Like, I mean going. An hour later, it finally stopped, and they decided to check out what it was. They check up to see that they got skills. Let me go down on what Izuka's is. Izuka's is electrical creation, where she can create these are the skills she just picks out. Electrical creation, where she can create weapons. Fire manipulation, pretty basic. Ice manipulation, you already know what that is. Plasma blast, you already know what that is. Well, if you don't, the ability to let out plasma from your hands. Sonic scream, basically having a high pitched scream. So anyway, sensory and healing. And Izuku's skills is fire manipulation, lightning manipulation, ice manipulation, darkness manipulation, light manipulation, and dragon summon. Yes. So, we got a couple of minutes left. All I want to say again is happy late Christmas and happy late New Year's. I'm saying this very late, but There we go. We hit the 1 hour mark. I'm so glad that's over. But bye.